New videos every day.
This is Athena Jezik, and we're going to talk through some legs again, so that you might want to pick up some hints there and help your friends out, or if you're in practice, maybe there's something here that you might be able to pick up on. Now, I've noticed that there's a little bit of a bruising going on right here. And when you see bruises, you should not be working into them at all. Like, it's all right to touch them, but you don't want to go deep into them because there can be some contraindications, some issues around that. So it's on the side and it's not a real super deep one. There's some lymphatic technique that can be done to brush it, and it can almost bring the bruise away, which maybe we'll do later. So just be careful if you come upon any bruises, just work around it. Don't put yourself on it. So I'm just going to start down here with what I call thumb irons, where my thumbs are together, and I'm just coming up the middle of the gastrocnemius muscles, calf muscles. Sometimes these are going to be very painful because they tend to be stiff. They don't tend to be very stretched. Most of their action is shortening, so it takes some work to keep them long. This is just going back and forth up the muscle and just getting into these muscles and feel what's going on. Give it a little push. Stay fairly gentle with your pressure. Enough pressure so that you're doing something. You know, if you don't do enough pressure, then it's just kind of like, you know, soft stuff, and that's really annoying to me. So just enough to get in and let the muscle know that you're there, and let the muscle communicate with you. But not too much that would create the muscle to have to push back, or where it has to go into a stretch reflex, or a situation where it feels like it's going to be hurt, so it's going to push back and it's going to become an active muscle. You're not going to get much change. Now here I'm just going to be doing the same thing, kind of wringing the muscle, picking it up down deeper where along the bone, and picking that up and giving it a little maneuvering, squeezing, not squeezing tight, but wringing it, moving it in a circular kind of way. It should feel very pliable when you've got the muscle to soften. It'll feel very pliable, and it should feel somewhat smooth. Sometimes you'll have a little bit of stuff that's not smooth there, but for the most part it should be smooth. And then the same type of thing going up into the hamstrings. The hamstrings are another group that tend to be shorter because of the way that the activity is. So it's good too, when you're stretching the calf muscles, to also stretch the hamstrings. The hamstrings, as they get tighter, can pull in on the back. Same with the quadriceps. So they come into the hip area and they can create some stuff going on in the hip, in the back. Just a lot of different odd things that can go on. And here I'm just brushing back and forth with my fingers, and my other hand, my left hand, is scooping it back. It's more of a kneading type of technique, and then just picking up the muscle a little bit here, taking it deeper. This is a big muscle group, so you can get into that a little bit more. But again, I don't have a lot of pressure on any of this. And then ironing it back up, and that will let you feel for what is happening to the muscle now that it's been worked. Go up all the way to the insertions, which are right into the hip. Staying away from the inguinal triangle, this triangular place in the inner thigh. There's a lot of delicate structures there, and they're fairly superficial. So it's better to not put any kind of pressure there massage-wise. And another thing that's nice to do is to run down this attachment on the side. It's the iliotibial tract. It's a support. It's very tendinous in nature, and it's to support the hip and the knee, hold that into a better structure. But it gets tight, and I like to just run my thumbs up and down. I don't think you can see it too well on this side, and I can show you on the other side. We do have that bruise over there to deal with. So we'll go over the other leg and see a little bit differently on this leg, because I'll be working a little differently. I will try to show you as best I can. So here we're just running up the muscle, enough pressure to spread it. It feels like it's spreading a little bit and opening up, and you want to put more pressure, a little bit more of the oomph going toward the heart. You don't want to do strong pulling down this way. You want to make the stronger push upward and then just ride yourself back coming down. And that's because so much of the work with the muscles deals with the circulation as well. So you want the blood to be moving, being able to move toward the heart. The veins are not as deep as the arteries. The arteries have valves and can hold them. The veins don't. So it's helpful to give them a little stimulation with manual work at times. And then here it's the same thing up into the hamstring, thumbing it, and then I'm having a little bit of difficulty seeing. Okay, there's where the bruise is. And then we can pick up this hamstring muscle, and again, very careful where that bruise is. I think she said she got it from carrying a camera case around. It keeps banging into her, so not anything that's too serious. And then working that and softening and checking. The other thing that you want to be careful of when you're on a person's back is this area here at the knee. There's a lot of very delicate structures that are running right close superficially on the back of the knee. I usually just avoid the back of the knee. I'm touching it now, but I'm touching it very lightly, but I usually just go to either side. I don't go right in the center and do much work on that. Sometimes I can feel it to see what it's doing. Sometimes I'll do a little bit of very, very light, but I really, for the most part, avoid just that area right at the knee joint. And then we're going to do some of this work here on the iliotibial tract, coming down and then seeing where that bruise is. We're going to go around that, so we can't really do it all, but you can see how you just want to run down that muscle, down that structure. And we have to modify around this. And it's funny because it's very rough the closer in, and I can't get that to smoothen out yet because I'm not going to go over that bruise. Okay. I'm going to show you a technique for bruises that I've see if that will work. It may not work for the camera, so I'll check that out and see if I can show you a little thing I found for helping bruises. That is a lymphatic technique. Okay, so that's basically how you can work the legs, just to get them moving, some blood into them, some stimulation into the muscle, and have them soften so they can stretch well. It's a good thing that you could do before you're going to some sort of a stretch class if you like, or you can have the work done afterwards. It matters not, it's just what a preference is. Sometimes it's both is good. Okay, that's what we have for the legs.